Hello, I am Tina Weiland of Tina Weiland Fitness and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit more psychological, behavioral, because the more and more that I'm in the health and fitness space, the more that I realize that it's so much more than calories in, calories out, and moving your body more. That's essential, but to hold on to these habits long term, we need to implement behavior change and change the way our brain thinks and reacts to things. We can't force these things upon it and expect things to work. And again, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Pretty much the 3 stages that you should be encountering in your fitness journey versus what we typically encounter now, what society kind of uses what we encounter. So let's dive into that. And also real quick before we begin, again, I'm Tina Weiland of Tina Weiland Fitness. I am an online health and fitness coach. I have workout and nutrition services through my app. If you're interested in that, there's a link in the description. You could check that out for more. And I do a lot of cool fun workouts and have a podcast on here too, so you can always hit the subscribe button. But anyways, let's dive into it. So the typical cycle that we tend to see with people is this. We see you're gonna lose weight, and I just generalized it with losing weight because that's what most people want, is weight loss, fat loss. Okay, so I'm just gonna generalize it. You wanna lose weight, so you're gonna lose weight, and we usually do this through very unconventional, very unhealthy ways. So we're going to slash these calories. We're going to do hours of cardio and workouts in the gym, and we feel great for like a week, maybe even a month, because we're doing like a 30-day challenge. And then it becomes unsustainable and we inevitably fail. Okay. And what happens when we fail? You know, it could just be one slip up, one whatever. We tend to like just go all in because we left ourselves so deprived from eating, from working out too much. It was just too much, too soon. Our body ran out of fuel and we end up binging. We crash, we eat all of the food, all of the things, lays on the couch, watch all the seasons of Outlander, eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's, and then we hate ourselves, right? We binge, we hate ourselves. Eventually, we kind of get over it and we start over. And then it's just kind of this cycle. So again, we go for our goal. And again, you could sub this out for really any goal. You know, for somebody who wanted to gain strength, maybe they want to max out their deadlift and they do too much too soon, get injured, fail, kind of hate themselves, sit around, do nothing, and then start over. This is the cycle I see a lot. And this is where the behavior change comes in. There's actually 3 key phases that I teach in my coaching to my clients that I think is important. And it's more linear. I'm going to just kind of draw it in a line. So the first thing is foundations. Then we get momentum. Momentum. How do we spell momentum? And then we have maintenance. And you can actually revisit any of these phases of, you know, your journey, but it makes a lot more sense. So foundations at the top, momentum, and then maintenance. And with these phases, first is foundations. This is the most important part and what people skip. So we want to build a solid foundation. When you're building a house, when you're doing anything, you want to have a solid foundation, because if there's not a solid foundation, not a solid car frame, whatever it may be, it's going to crumble, it's going to fail. So that's why we take it back to the basics. And a lot of the times my clients might almost think it's too easy, but we're going to build that foundation. So, you know, getting enough water in, establishing a movement routine that you can actually do if you're super stressed out in life right now, if there's a lot going on, we might have to draw things back. Creating just basic healthy habits and really establishing a good knowledge of nutrition and how it works in our body and how to make good nutritious food choices. I actually just started a series with my clients. It's called the Food Freedom Series, where I'm really educating them on the basics. We're babying it and taking it down to the bare bones of like how to pick quality nutritious foods. And there's a trend here. If we tend to make healthier choices and make the foods that are less processed and eat more of those, we tend to hit our calorie and macro goals. Now, it is possible to overeat, gain weight, whatever on healthy foods, less processed foods, but it's a lot harder, and we tend to feel better and hit a lot of our marks, okay? So again, building that strong foundation. Another part of a strong foundation that is often overlooked is, again, kind of going backwards. I mentioned this before. So if you're somebody who's a chronic dieter, that you are in the cycle here, your metabolism can be really jacked up, and not that it's broken, but it's going to be down regulated to protect yourself, and you may be functioning at a lower level of calories. So anytime you do decide to add in more food, you gain all this weight like crazy because it's so used to functioning at the lower calorie level. And with this, that would include something like a reverse diet. Maybe you got off birth control, or maybe you're dealing with PCOS, or maybe you're dealing with Hashimoto's or diabetes or whatever, and you need to get some protocols under control to build a solid foundation before you can move on to the next steps. This might be, getting blood work done to check for nutrients. Again, this is kind of out of my scope of practice. I can recommend that you get blood work, but I'm not going to interpret it or anything like that. Although I do a lot of research, I'm very passionate about it, because for those of you who do not know, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, and earlier this year I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, and I did it because I ordered my own blood work because doctors didn't want to. That's a whole other story. But you do have to be your own advocate with your health in instances like that. I'm a big supporter of that. But yeah, just really anything. It could be, like I said, bringing your calories back up. You may need to gain a couple pounds. You may need to reset because your body's so stressed out and do absolutely nothing except walking and stretching to bring your body up to a nice foundation. We're building a nice, strong, stable foundation. So when you do decide to do the weight loss protocols, or you decide to put on the muscle and go for the max deadlift, like, you're going to kill it. Your body is going to respond so well. And I apologize if you hear my cat in the background, that's Binks. So that's the foundations parts of things. The second thing is going to be momentum. This is the fun part. So after we did what I pretty much just said, after we did the foundations and we established the foundations, then you transfer into momentum. So now we kind of found our groove, we found our footing. This phase can be different for everybody. All of my clients, I always tell them to give me at least 3 months of working with them. Because 3 months is a good amount of time to kind of work out the kinks, see what they like, what's working. If we encounter any life circumstances where things might need to change, like travel, sickness, injury, whatever. So, I'd say for the average person, this takes about 3 to 6 months, and sometimes it could be longer to hit that momentum stage. But things start to snowball, things start to build up, and you're going to start seeing that change. Making healthy choices are going to be easier. You're going to be slipping up less. Going to the gym is going to feel more natural now. You're actually going to feel worse when you don't go to the gym. You've established a routine. Your body's responding. You have more energy. You feel better. You're healthier. You have the better blood work. This is the momentum phase. Okay, so we're in the momentum phase. And then the last phase is maintenance, which can look a little different. A lot of people get here, especially in that old method that we were talking about, the cycle over here. A lot of people get to their goal weight or their goal, and then they're kind of like, oh, now what? What do I do? And they kind of just go back to their old ways, slowly but surely, and then they're back to where they started. But no, maintenance is a whole new protocol within itself. So after we kind of hit things hard, we reach your goals, because you will have to work a little bit harder to reach whatever goal you may have, whether that be weight loss, gaining muscle, gaining strength, whatever, a marathon. And once you kind of hit maintenance, things start to shift. So you do get a little bit more flexibility with maintenance. I like to say it's that plus or minus 5 pounds, you know what I mean? Or the 10 pounds. You have that little bit of fluff on you because you're a little bit more relaxed with your diet. We almost kind of go back to the foundations with a little bit more knowledge. So we resort back to the core habits, and we focus on those things like staying hydrated, eating enough nutrients, moving our bodies in a way we enjoy, stress management. But like I said, we kind of approach it from a place of more knowledge, so we know what to do when times get tough, and you know, we're working at things 80 to 90% of the time, and then the 10 to 20% of the time we get to have fun, we get to live a little, not think about things as much. And that's maintenance mode, kind of maintaining that progress that we worked so hard for. And again, we may travel up and down the spectrum. Let's say that, you know, life gets crazy. We were at maintenance and we're still following the protocol. We're still following like our foundational things, you know, drinking our water, moving a little bit, but we slacked a little bit. And then we step on the scale and we're like, ooh, I gained 15, 20 pounds back. Okay, I didn't see this coming. I know my clothes are a little bit tighter. What do I do? Again, we start back up at the top. Let's start at the foundations. Let's nail those down. Let's rebuild my foundation. I have a couple cracks in it, but that's okay. We're going to seal them up. We don't have to rebuild the whole foundation. And then we're going to get that momentum again to get the weight off and then slide into maintenance. So it's an ever flow. I don't think you're ever going to stay in one place forever. It's impossible to do that. It's impossible to do that, but once you build a solid foundation, it's easier to go through all of these phases. Okay, so I hope that helped. I hope that kind of changes your mindset. If you're interested in learning how this works, like I said, I teach these methods exactly in this type of mindset work through my coaching. There's a link in the bio, in the description box, if you want to learn more about that. You can also comment down below some thoughts if you have questions or anything about what was in this video. But until next time, guys, that's all for today. Bye.